So I'm about 3 hours into Crimson Desert, and this is really going to be like an off-the-cuff, raw initial reaction to playing it for the first time, and kind of a reviewer from the perspective of a lot of my fans on this channel follow me because I post a lot of Souls content. So it's going to be kind of a, hey, if you like Souls games, is this something you might be interested in? And just kind of going off of my initial impression, reaction from the game is, this is not a Souls game. But I think if you like games like Breath of the Wild, Red Dead 2, that is where it's drawing its biggest inspirations from. There are some like Souls-like elements I think that it's pulling from in terms of like controls for combat, but it really does play closer to a Breath of the Wild, even like a Red Dead 2 in terms of just movement, how things work, how your character interacts with the environment, and it's really going to be closer to those two games than it is a Souls game. I think maybe something that takes a little bit more inspiration from a Souls game would be more of an Elden Ring, just how open and vast the world is. But beyond that, and again, some like very surface level like combat stuff, there really isn't a lot of that there. I know later on in the game there's going to be some more like intense bosses, but even still, you know, just because a game has bosses doesn't mean it's a Souls-like. So if you were expecting a Souls-like, expecting like, okay, you know, allocating points towards like, or like your currency towards like skill points, essentially like the stat system in a Souls game, that's not here. It's much more like a skill tree system they have going on with your abilities. To just kind of get that out of the way first, this is not a Souls game. I don't think if you like watched a lot of the previews you would have thought that, but for, you know, maybe the handful of people who may have looked at this like, oh, this, I wonder if this is, you know, taking a lot of Souls inspiration. It really isn't. That being said, I think the combat here is really fun. I'm enjoying that aspect of the game. I think the way abilities work and move, I think is really cool. I think a lot of the, like, for lack of a better term, like puzzle altering, world altering abilities feel very similar again to like a Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom type. You know, you're solving puzzles and it's not really holding your hand here. You're kind of like, okay, I gotta figure this out, you know, kind of on my own. And I think maybe that's, you know, if you like that kind of element from Souls games where they don't really tell you a lot, then that is something that is kind of present here in more of a like puzzle solving way. And I think that's pretty cool. I will say that in terms of performance, and that's my biggest like critique of this game, is I'm playing on a base PS5 Slim. I don't have a Pro, I don't have a PC, and your options for performance are kind of not incredible. You have 4K 30, or you have like a 1080p 60, or like 1440p that's like, I believe somewhere around like the 40 FPS range, which is what I'm playing on the balanced mode. And I think that's unfortunate, very unfortunate in 2026 that we're getting a like major release like this and there's not like 4K 60. There's also a lot of like lighting issues that keep popping up for me on the PS5. Like there's a lot of, it just feels like there's a lot of stuff that isn't polished on a like technical level, I guess, in terms of like sound design is not incredible. There's some like weird noises and stuff you'll hear that just kind of feel low quality. That's kind of my biggest criticism of the game, is it just feels like there's a lot to be desired when it comes to polish for this game. But I think in terms of breadth, in terms of just things you can do, is absolutely crazy. I'm really looking forward to like really diving deep into these systems. But I did want to kind of give a like first impressions video, because I've been following this for a little bit. I've been like on and off keeping up with this game probably for the past year. And as it's gotten closer, I've been more and more like, okay, I think this is something that I might really like. And I do really like a good portion of it so far. And I think I'll like it even more once it starts to really open up here. But this is kind of my first impressions after 3 hours, to be fair. I know a lot of people are saying the game really opens up after about 8 to 10 hours. So I've still got a ways to go. And I think once I get to that point and get a little further, maybe even get through the end of the story, I'll do a full video on it. but just kind of, again, my first impressions, literally put the game down, and I've been playing it since this afternoon for about 3 hours. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. I think right now I'm sitting around like a 7 out of 10 overall, but it could very easily escalate. And I think from what I've heard, the opening isn't the best, but once it really starts to break open is where it's going to get really good. And I from what I'm seeing so far, I really expect that. I'm not playing this for a story. I think if you are, from what I've seen, it's not going to blow you away. You're not going to get super invested in it. I'm not. It's just kind of like, this is here. I'm playing it for just the gameplay aspects, and so far it's been pretty good. So I'm not going to put a full endorsement behind it, but I am still enjoying my time with the game, and I'm looking forward to playing it more. So that's where I'm going to kind of leave it here, but once I get a little deeper into it, maybe even finish the game, I'll do a full review of the game, like front to back, give my final thoughts on it. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you like the video, hit the sub, hit the like button, hit the bell button, go follow me over on TikTok, and I appreciate you guys so much. I will catch you all in the next video.